In this video, I'm showing you the hand carving of a special love spoon that I've made to record the birth of my second son. Most of this video I'm going to shoot using a time lapse, but I just wanted to explain a few things before I got started. So this isn't actually something then that I would do commercially. So for anybody who's sort of interested in that side of it, this isn't something I would do normally commercially. But it's just a special love spoon for my youngest son. So it's a lovely timber to work in. And the way we source this, my father-in-law's town is in the middle of La Mancha in Spain, and I do believe they used to use it a lot in house building, that sort of thing. Today it's prohibited. You can't actually cut it down. So if you're wondering how have we got hold of it, well, quite a few of them, despite they don't live in the towns any longer, they use them in the summer a lot for parties and stuff. And quite a few of them have it in storage, but also it is possible to find it on occasions if the authorities have been doing some work in the areas. Sometimes you can actually source the wood, and so you can go out and collect it. So that's another way then for getting the wood. And then after this, I'm going to move across into a time lapse so you can get a much quicker idea for how this love spoon has been made. As you can see, we're very much into the latter stages of this project, and the reason I've transferred back from the time lapse into the actual carving is to try and provide a little sort of insight into the mindset and the thought processes that we go through when we're doing a project, when we're doing a carving like this one here. So the basic thinking when you're doing relief style carving like this, you're selecting the gouges that you feel are best for the job in hand. That's one thing that you're doing. And the main sort of part of the process is assessing which parts of the design am I going to bring back and which parts am I going to push back. And that process is not sort of an exact science. Sometimes you do it and you think, no, that hasn't quite worked. I'll try doing it a different way. So there is an element of trial and error. But generally, sort of speaking, features like the face and stuff like that, quite often you're bringing them out. In this example, the two lions at the back, we're looking to push them back because they're behind the two smaller lions. So that's what we're sort of doing. We're bringing out the two smaller lions. The two young lions at the front, they're in the foreground, and the older lions then, they've sort of got that supporting role. So that's the idea. We've got the tails coming underneath, is that we want these two younger lions, we want them more in the foreground, and the two older lions then they're supporting in the background. But as you can see, we do all of those stop cuts, and then afterwards we just go just a little bit around those stop cuts. We use that paper drawing then as well, because that provides us with direction, because we know what those lines are. But one thing you may notice, we don't actually stick to using just the paper drawing. There's a little degree of improvisation. So you don't stick strictly, it's not a strict thing to stick to those drawings, but it's useful to have the drawing there as a little bit of a guide. So we're using that stop cut, as we always mention, going back to basics. We use that stop cut as a barrier. We cut in. One thing I don't explain as well quite often is that we use the reverse cutting angle. So when I'm doing a cut like that one there, I'm actually angling the gouge over and I'm using the reverse angle to do that cut. So that's a little skill then. Have a little go. So instead of cutting in, so for instance, if we'll have that one there actually. When we're cutting into there, we're using the cutting angle, but we also turn the gouge around and we use that reverse angle to cut away as well. So it's all just little methods and techniques that you can try yourself, and hopefully that will help. But that's the basic process that we go through then, is using the stop cuts, using the picture, the drawing that you've done, using those guidelines, and then bringing out the detail of the carving. So nothing too complicated, but I just thought it would be useful and interesting if I sort of gave a little insight into the thought process that we go through when doing relief carving. that is our completed love spoon. As always, we hope you've enjoyed seeing how this love spoon has been made. Not something that we would usually do. It's a bit of a special project, a present for my son. So not something that we would normally do here at the workshop, and not something that we would do for sale. It's a nice little project for anyone who's interested in having a go at something like that. The wood, as you mentioned, special piece of wood, Savina, the Spanish call that one there. It's come from La Mancha. I'm fairly sure that it's a piece of juniper. But there we are. That's how we made that love spoon. And as always, we'll be back again soon with more videos. Thank you all again for watching.